Cup champions.
Chelsea are champions of the world.
World champions.
World champions, guys.
Chelsea, congratulations.
World fucking champions.
You have won everything in world football.
Yeah, world champions for 4 years.
Everything in club football.
You're the world champions.
World champions.
World
You
champs.
said
You are the world champions.
world champions, yeah? I'm not going to be one of them like saying, yo, like, there's a Tim Pot trophy. It's a pre-season trophy. Bro, it's a Club World Cup, man. See the size of that trophy, bro?
Chelsea are going to have a stamp on their chest for 4 years saying world champions.
They're going to have Club World Cup winners for 4 years.
4 fucking years saying world champions.
You like, I try to downplay it like the mad waking thing, you get me? But you comes to a point when you're like, you know what, blood? Man can't even like. If they did a parade, yeah, man can't even knock it. You get me?
World champions.
The champions of the world. They are the club world champions.
Chelsea are Club World Cup champions.
The best team in the world is now Chelsea Football Club.
Champions of the world.
And Chelsea are world champions now. Whatever you want to say about them.
They're going to be world champs for the next 4 years.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to be there 4 years' time.
World champions at Chelsea Football Club.
Chelsea FC champions of the world.
My name is Troops. And I am the wise man. And I would like to introduce the reigning, defending, undisputed, undefeated world champion, Carefree Lewis G.
Yes, people, we are back live. Big up every single one of you that's locked in. Appreciate everybody that's been waiting. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing. And make sure you're subbed to PSG International as well for all the best Parisian content out there. The link is in the title. So it's not even going to send you away from the stream. It's just going to open up a new tab. So no excuses to everybody watching, whether you're live or whether you're on the playback. Make sure you, man, are subbed. And obviously, we're here to preview the Champions League fixture between the two sides. The game's on Wednesday. I'm flying out Tuesday, so we're doing this early. And I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a bit of cautious optimism on both sides. Before we get into it, gotta shout out our guests. Big up my bro. Big up PSG International for jumping on. It's been an honor to have you on the show. I hope everything's good, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being on this YouTube channel and getting the invitation for this preview. I feel proud as a PSG supporter representing the club. And thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for jumping on as well, man. We were speaking about this earlier, and I wanted to start off the stream with this. How has PSG's season gone? Because I expected you guys to go into this game. Obviously, revenge is going to be on your mind anyway, even in spite of the way both teams are playing. But you guys seem a bit more cautious going into this game than I originally thought. Because, like, Chelsea haven't had the greatest of seasons. We've had our own problems. I think we've both had similar problems. I've seen there's been complaints about recruitment. I've seen there's been complaints about defensive issues. Same shit that we've had to deal with. Obviously, we've both had the Club World Cup fatigue as well hit us too. There's been a lot of problems for both of us, but let me know how your season's gone and what issues specifically have come up for you this season.
Yeah, so usually, you know, when a team wins the Champions League and has that knockout stage that we have, they go into the next season better, more confident, and, you know, basically run through the group stage, going really confidently into the knockout stages. That's unfortunately not been in our case. As you mentioned with the fatigue, I think that has been a major thing for Paris Saint-Germain. For example, Chelsea, I think you have a 30-man squad. We only have a 23-man squad on purpose because Luis Enrique wants higher competition in the squad. So when we get injured players and so on, it affects us more, obviously. And then the difference between PSG and Chelsea, for example, both of us played the entire Club World Cup, went to the final, but then we had to resume the season earlier because we had the UEFA Super Cup versus Spurs. Yeah. So we've just had a shorter break in between, which has caused multiple injuries. I mean, basically,
how long was your preseason? Just out of interest,
we didn't have a preseason, so we
we had like 10 days.
No, we had like the summer break, like when the players actually rested for like 22 days, similar to you guys, and then we had 7 days of training, and then the UEFA Super Cup game, and then Ligue 1 started, and then the season started. So it was a really short turnover. Which has made, you know, majority of our players being injured. Only Vitinha and Patra, I think, are only two players that haven't been injured this season, with the most notable one being obviously Ousmane Dembele, our best player having like 5 separate injuries this season. So I would mostly play on injuries. And then I would also say mental fatigue. You know, we didn't just win the Champions League. We won the treble. We won the 6-2. So it's hard, you know, going into every single game, wanting
and
to
you
win,
have a very intense style of play too from last season as well. So I can imagine having the build up of games would fuck that up even more.
Exactly. We really high press, really high intensity, and that has affected us. But that's like why we're not at the stage we should be at. That's why, as you said, maybe we aren't as confident as we should be going into this game as the European champions. We're confident it's PSG. We're backing our team, but we've seen, I mean, we conceded 4 goals to Monaco. That's not accepted. And they had 2 red cards in both legs as well. So, that's about it, why we've been struggling.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the issues that we've had. Like, our recruitment's just kind of handicapped us too. We rested on our laurels after winning the World Cup. Maresca asked for a centre-back. We didn't get a centre-back. And then all of our issues this season have majority come from centre-back. The only one that we've had that I don't think you guys have been having is the red card situation. Like, we have had a habit of self-sabotaging so many games. But I feel like the injuries are kind of not hitting us too bad at this point in the season. I know there's been a few alarm bells ringing because Reece James and Esteban haven't been seen in training. But Reece was on the bench on Saturday. And I really think with Reece James's injury record, even though he's a bit better now, it's probably precautionary with Wednesday in mind. I don't think you're going to see any issues with either of them not being in the squad. But Club World Cup fatigues hit us, mental fatigues hit us, centre-back issues and also poor recruitment has hit us as well. And yeah, it feels like both of us are going into this game just cautiously optimistic. Although I say that, I watched your PSG preview yesterday. One of your guys that was talking all sorts of crazy. He's like, yo, we're going to win 3-4-0. Chelsea are our babies in Europe and all of that. They said Monaco was better than us and all of it. And it was a bit refreshing to hear that side. But all the other stuff that I've heard about how cautious you guys are going into the game, it gives me a little bit more optimism. As long as we don't fuck the game up for ourselves. How would you say the recruitment's been for you, though? Like, I've heard Zabani and, like, Chevalier haven't necessarily done well for you guys so far, but how's the overall recruitment been for you?
Yeah, I mean, we had a very limited transfer window. Zabarni mostly coming in because Marquinhos is getting in age. So we need someone to potentially be replacing him in the upcoming seasons. Then obviously we made the massive question mark, which not only us as PSG supporters got questionable to, everyone got. When we got rid of Gianluigi Donnarumma after that insane Champions League campaign, he was also very good in the Club World Cup. I mean,
the Club World Cup decision, by the way, or individual?
No, it was a club decision. I mean, we've been linked to Chevalier for like 3 seasons previously. I think it's more Luis Enrique, like Pep, he wants a ball-playing goalkeeper. So he thought, you know what, let's elevate the team by having a ball-playing goalkeeper. For example, against you guys in the Club World Cup final, you took Donnarumma out of the game with your pressing. And I think maybe that was one of the reasons he was like, you know what, I can't carry on having a goalkeeper with such bad feet, with the ball at his feet. So, but obviously Chevalier has not been good, and he's not going to be the starting goalkeeper versus y'all. It's going to be Safonov, who was our second keeper last season, and who got his, place this season. So, no, our transfer really haven't been
better than him this season.
Safonov, yeah, in the limited minutes he's gotten compared to Chevalier, he's been better, and that's why he's our starting keeper at the moment.
Okay, cool. We've had our questions with goalkeepers, but I still expect Robert Sanchez to be starting against you guys on Wednesday, even though we surprisingly rotated him for the last league match. And the weirdest thing is, I thought the Aston Villa game was kind of a dress rehearsal for the way that we're going to play against you guys, because we seem to implement similar tactics to the way that we did in the final. We had Palmer more on the right-hand side. We had Reece or Gusto either overlapping or providing support in the middle. Villa also played a high line, similar to how you guys played. And the game looked very similar in terms of the tactics as to how we set up with you in the final. So I'm kind of hoping we play that way on Wednesday as well. Because I'm thinking if we have Palmer on the right-hand side, Gusto overlapping, that's how you're going to get the best of both of them. I assume you're still going to be playing high up because, worry aside about certain injuries and everything, you're still going to try and impose yourself on the game. Enrique isn't the sort of manager that's going to drop back and try and put the impetus on us.
For sure.
Although I say that, I've heard, surprisingly, there's been a few criticisms about Enrique this season. I don't know if you've heard it, but I've been looking through your forums and a lot of people are saying tactically he's doing a lot of the same things, as he's not really changing things up too much.
100%. There's been a real strong push that he should, adapt a little bit. Some people say we got found out, at least from a tactical sense, versus y'all in the Club World Cup final, and he hasn't, made the adaptations. He's still playing Vitinha as the 6, still playing Dembele as the false 9. My answer always to be defending Luis Enrique in that case has been, we've been so inconsistent this season. We haven't been that good, and that's when you take the least amount of risks. You don't want to try something new when it's not going that well. You want to keep it safe. You want to play where you've always been playing and where your players are confident in. So I completely understand that criticism towards Luis Enrique, but he just feels, you know what, this is how I won the Champions League last season. This is how I reached the Club World Cup final last season. Why not? Why not play it again? It could potentially hurt us.
You think it's going to come out the same way? You think we should expect the same PSG that we face in the final, like the same setup?
100%. Like only small minor differences. Like with Safonov being better on the ball, sometimes we can be good playing from the long, like Safonov trying to find Barcola or Savić or Due in the upper echelon spaces. But apart from that, we'll play very similarly to. Obviously, we didn't play that good in the final, but from a tactical standpoint, we would line up extremely similarly to how we did in that final.
Interesting. Is João Neves and Fabian Ruiz going to be back for the game?
No. So Fabian Ruiz has been out for like a couple of weeks now. He'll be missing the first leg. If he makes the second leg, he would only be coming off the bench late on. Neves just came back from injury. He's been in training and everything. Still unsure if he's going to start the game. He's definitely going to be in the squad, but a bit of a question mark if he's going to start the game.
Okay, because to me, this is where I think the game can be won. Our midfield is the one place where I can just go out to bat and say, I back this lot against anybody. The worst they'll do is get given an even match. But if you're not going to have Vitinha, if you're not going to have Fabian Ruiz and João Neves, and I guess it would be Mayulu and Zaire Emery as the replacements, that's not going to be the same level, is it?
Oh, for sure. When it comes to experience, when it comes to overall ability, I mean, Mayulu is good, but he's definitely downgrade from Fabian, and same with Warren on Neves. One thing, maybe, again, it's really unlikely. Maybe PSG play 4 attackers with Desiree Due in the midfield and Dembele, Kvara, and Barcola up top. But it's unlikely, mostly because of the Dembele just came back from injury as well. So I don't even know if Dembele is going to start the game.
So he could be a bench option too.
Dembele, no, Dembele is in the squad. He will be coming off the bench 100%. Small likelihood he may start the game, but he's ready.
Well, I am not going to get too giddy for this just because I know exactly what this team's on. Like, this team is the king of self-sabotage. But it does seem like we're catching you guys at the right time still. I'm trying to be as calm, level-headed. I don't want to be like the overconfident, cocky Chelsea fan like we've seen a lot of them on Twitter recently. Because you guys are still going to give us a good game. You still got danger men up top. And I'll still be a bit iffy about my wingers as well. Like whoever's on the left-hand side, that's going to be a bit of an issue for me still. But you guys do look a little bit there for the taking. I do think we can win the midfield battle. João Pedro is on incredible form right now. With Cole Palmer next to him, you're going to get the best out of both of them. I think whatever happens, you're going to get a serious game on Wednesday. And where is your confidence levels at for this game?
Strictly for this first leg, I'm confident. I know that PSG, because of the intensity levels and everything, we pick and choose our games, and this is definitely a game that the players will pick. For example, the recent game we won 5-0 versus Marseille. It was one of the best games under Luis Enrique, but obviously we haven't been consistent ever since that game. But I definitely believe this is a game that the players will pick to perform at their best level. You mentioned revenge before. There've been multiple reports, obviously. The players do want to seek revenge. If there's any team they want to play, it is Chelsea, because you guys stopped us from winning the Club World Cup, winning a septuple, becoming the first ever team to win 7 trophies in one calendar year. So I definitely think that's at the back of the players' head. But I just think it's a Champions League game. And we saw first leg, round of 16 last season versus Liverpool. Yes, we lost it 1-0, but that was probably our best performance of the Champions League knockout stages.
That was an Alisson masterclass. That's the only reason why it was 1-0.
Yeah. So I think the players definitely will step up for this game. Last game we lost 3-1 versus Monaco. The round of 32 versus Monaco wasn't the best, but again, I don't know how much the players really wanted to perform at their best level. It felt more like games they just wanted to get over with. And they would pick this game. So I'm confident that we will
I can get
perform
that
well.
just because you guys have won, like, you've won basically everything last year. And with that in mind, like, a bit of complacency is going to come into it. But with that in mind, you're saying that we're probably going to get, like, the most switched on PSG. But the question is, like, do you play the game or do you play the occasion? Because I get it, you man have every reason to be annoyed with that game because, yeah, I didn't expect us to play that level and to dominate you that well. Like, I put that down as one of the best performances that I've seen from Chelsea, full stop, in my life. For the occasion, for the performance, for the lack of for the lack of belief going into the game that we would even compete with you, let alone win the game. For us to play like that, that would come back on you guys' head as well. So I expect you guys to be switched on for the game, but you got to make sure you play the game and not the occasion, and you don't go head first into it, because we've done that enough times, and then you just get an early red, and then you've got yourself on the back foot.
I mean, you talked about self-sabotage. I can do the same for PSG. This season, we've conceded so many stupid goals. Unlike last season, we went to the Emirates. We went to Anfield, scored 1 goal, and kept a clean sheet for 90 and 120 minutes, respectively. This season, it's not the same. And it's not just because we don't have Donnarumma to bail us out like he did last season. It's that sometimes we lose focus, we lose concentration. Also, we played Newcastle and Spurs this season, 2 Premier League teams. In the UEFA Super Cup, Spurs scored 2 set-piece goals. In the group stage game, they scored 1 set-piece goal, and Newcastle also scored the set-piece goal. And I know that basically every single Premier League team, including Chelsea, are really strong from set pieces. So that's another thing.
And you're bad at defending set pieces.
Overall, yes. I mean, we don't have that tall of a squad. We don't have that physical of a squad. So usually in the box, we're inferior to the opponents, both in the offensive and sector and defensive box. But if we're focused, we can do it well. I mean, last season, we played Liverpool 2 legs, Aston Villa 2 legs, Arsenal 2 legs in the knockout stages, and didn't concede a single set-piece goal. So, but this season, we have conceded way more from set pieces, and overall just crosses into the box. So that could definitely be like, let's say PSG dominate the ball, have some chances. You can have one simple cross, one simple set piece, and it's a goal. We've also been extremely unclinical in front of goal. Mostly because we're missing Dembele, who's our best goal scorer. So even if we have a good patch of 20 minutes period where we're creating chances, there's a large likelihood we're not going to take our chances. And then you go on the counter and take your chance. So we have been shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit this season.
You guys sound so much like us this season. It's actually crazy. Like the defensive errors, recruitment issues, Club World Cup fatigue. Fuck it. All right, cool. So this game's going to be a lot more even than even I was giving it credit for. What the fuck? How have you made of Chelsea this season anyway? Moving away from PSG, how have you made from us this season? From wherever you've seen of us?
Yeah, for example, I watched your recent game versus Arsenal. Obviously, when you play Arsenal, honestly, it's not about football. It's about endurance, mentality, keeping it, defending set pieces, and so on. But I still felt you were a little bit slightly the better team going into that game. And overall, in that game, you at least tried to create chances. The Enzo Fernandez chance, I remember, and some other, the cross towards the end of the game. But honestly, I haven't watched too much. I know that you got a really strong mentality victory away versus Napoli in the last match week of the Champions League to get top 8. And you mentioned the similarities. I think both of us have a really young team. When you have a young team, they don't have the best experience. They don't have the best maturity. That's where mistakes come in. You've also been swapping managers. So I don't have a really clear picture. Do you think that Liam is looking at what Maresca did and trying to copy it? Because as you mentioned, against Aston Villa, you looked a little bit similar to how you looked against us in the Club World Cup final. Do you think he's going to switch up a little bit strictly for this game?
Nah, because like Rosenior said that he don't want to change too much too soon. Because he's come in mid-season in a very packed part of the season where you're playing games every 3 days. He said changing things up and trying to get them to understand the way I want them to play in my philosophy is too much too soon for them, and it's going to lead to a ton of problems in build-up play. So he's trying to like add little tweaks. So obviously we'll play with more of a tighter double pivot now, and we'll play a lot more direct than what we usually did under Maresca. Maresca would like be a lot more slower, a lot more possession orientated. Rosenior just wants you to push the ball forward. So you get those little changes. Other than that, there's still a lot of similarities in the way that we play too, because you don't want to change too much. And I think the same thing too. That Aston Villa game, I can't shake the idea that was a dress rehearsal with the game in mind. And I can't take anything from Wrexham because a lot of those players that started is not going to start against you lot. And if anything, I'd be taking some of their passports after the way that they played. So they definitely can't fucking play against us. But the way that we set up, I would assume would be similar to the World Cup final. And Liam knows you guys pretty well too from his time at Strasbourg. So with that in mind, like, I don't think you're going to see not too much of a change from what you've seen against us in July, really. I don't think you see too much. But Rosenior in 2 months, he actually hasn't like annoyed me or anything. This guy came in and nobody wanted him here. Even the guys that were Maresca out weren't saying bring Rosenior into the club. But he's come in, and in 2 months, I struggle to see a lot of like big mistakes that he's made. Some people will be annoyed about the amount of rotation that we made on Friday, but ultimately, we're playing you guys on Wednesday. You guys have got your game against Monaco moved back to Friday. If we play too many players in that game, the complaint's going to be that we didn't rotate enough and the players are going to be gassed for the match against you lot. Ultimately, if our team can't beat Wrexham with rotations, get rid of the depth. Get rid of the entire depth, because what's the point? These are the games where you have to rely on them. Even the Arsenal game, the second leg, I'm not annoyed with that. We had Estevao had to come off the bench. Palmer had to come off the bench. And there was no Reece James in the squad. Like, what's his name? Unai Emery did the exact same thing against us when Villa beat us 2-1 in December. He left all of his key players on the bench and just said to the team, cope for 60 minutes. Just make sure you're not a goal down. And then they weren't a goal down, or they might have conceded 1 or something. They bring on their players and they turn the game around and they win 2-1. He's called the tactical genius. Rosenior did that. We end up losing towards the end. And suddenly we're saying it was a bad move from him. It's a hindsight thing. I'm not annoyed with it. And for me, that's a good thing in the first 2 months. Especially for me as someone who was like, I was a Maresca. I backed Maresca to the hills and back, basically. And when he was sat, obviously felt like shit and everything. And I weren't really with Rosenior joining, but he's done his thing. In the last 2 months, I've had very little complaints. Now what I just need is just a few more big game results. You've done your job at Napoli. You did a good job at Villa. Let's go and get a result against PSG. And then next month, we've got Man United, Man City coming in. God willing, we're in the quarterfinals. And then it would probably be Liverpool or Galatasaray. And then we'll get a better idea of where he is as a manager. But for now, he's not done anything wrong. My problems are just the same problems that I kind of said earlier. The centre-backs. They're all capable of a bozo moment. Fofana's meant to be our best one. He's been making a ton of errors. I'd hope he turns up against you lot because he's Marseille born and bred. So like, I expect you to be up for the game, but we'll have to see. Badiashile, I'd leave him in France. Tosin, I wouldn't even bring him to France. Sars, he's been all right. He's only had a couple games. I can't judge him too much. But they're all got a mistake in them. All of them. And that's where our problem usually is. That and the wingers. And I don't think that's going to be as much of a problem in this game because we should be having Palmer on the right, which would mean Neto or Garnacho on the left-hand side, ideally as an outlet. Probably should be Neto because he's a bit better defensively, but even then I say a bit because he's kind of dropped off defensively in the last couple of weeks for us. And yeah, that and just bozo moments. Same thing you were saying. Like, we are so capable of a self-sabotage. We could give you a brilliant 60 minutes red card. And we're going to lose. Because as soon as we get the red card, we have to start relying on our depth. And our depth just isn't it. You look at the option on the bench. Liam Delap, he sucks. Garnacho, like, he's decent off the bench. But for the most part, he's the same player that joined us from United. And that guy sucked. Santo, the midfield depth's still there. The backline depth sucks. And that's our team, really. If our plan A works, then great. If our plan A doesn't work, I don't really know what I'll go on for the options off the bench in it. So we got to hope we get everything right at the start.
You talk about centre-backs. I know he's injured now, but do you put Colwill in a similar category as the other ones in terms of bozo moments or so on? Or do you think his Chelsea standard, starting standard?
It's a difficult one Because last season, Colwill wasn't doing too well up until about March. And then March, all the way up to the Club World Cup final, you just saw a giant level up in his performances. And now he's been hit with an ACL injury. I don't want to put that much pressure on him because I feel like with our poor recruitment, everything is just on Colwill. We need Colwill back. Get Colwill back. Oh, if Colwill was here, everything would be good. I don't want to put this pressure on a guy who has just hit that level in his last few months before getting that injury. And now because of our dog shit recruitment, because we're just expecting him to come back at the same level, I don't want to put that pressure on him. But like a fit Colwill at his level is probably, I'd say him over Fofana now. I'd argue Fofana over Colwill a month or two ago, but you're not showing me those levels. Even when we beat Aston Villa 4-1, the only bad problem was Fofana. He was stripping the entire first half. I can't help you when you're our second highest earner and you're playing like this every week. Colwill at his level would be up there. But you need to see what level he's at when he comes back from his ACL, because that's a big injury. And you don't know how long it takes for a player to recover from that, not just physically, but mentally. You're always worried about your next tackle or your next challenge. So I can hope so. But ultimately, I would rather we just brought in another centre-back so you can just like lessen the workload on him. And then when he comes back, he can build himself back into the team. Just compete for it. If you're good enough, you'll play. That's the way it's always should have been at Chelsea. But now we're just saying, hey, you lot, figure it out for a season. There's a fresh spot for Colwill when he comes back. I don't mind that, but you can't guarantee he's coming back to me at the same level. You can't guarantee that.
Yeah. One thing I want to touch upon, sometimes people ask me, why do you think the Club World Cup final won't affect this game too much? And I mentioned pressure and expectations. For example, the Club World Cup, even as a PSG supporter, when we beat Madrid 4-0, a team we always struggle against in the Champions League, it's because the pressure wasn't there. Club World Cup, it's a new tournament. The stakes aren't there yet. You know, Club World Cup, I think it will grow. It will add value throughout every single tournament, just like how the first integration of the Champions League didn't have the same. How do you feel about this being a Champions League knockout stage game? The PSG players, for example, they've been here, done that last season. Chelsea, Reece James, obviously he's by far your most experienced player in the Champions League. He was there when you won the UCL in 2021. Enzo Fernandez played with y'all when you played, I think, Madrid. You knocked out
22-23. Yeah.
And then maybe someone else. And obviously this will be Liam's first knockout game. How do you feel about that pressure Champions League knockout stage? Because it's different from anything else, club career wise.
I get it, because obviously, like we're going to your ground, and that's going to be very volatile, especially with the atmosphere that we expect to receive when we go over there. But no, like I don't think it's going to like intimidate the players. Really, I don't expect that from them, because if that was going to be the case, Napoli should have been a lot more difficult. And like Napoli in the second half, once we made our changes, like that game seemed a lot more easier, and they also just tired out a bit. Like, I don't really expect it to be any different. Not in terms of like performance. I'm not saying we're going to go there and just run through you 3-0 again. I'm not saying that, but I don't really see them approaching this game any differently, really. Like, I don't think it's going to impact us too much. It's just going to come down to how we play and if anybody shits the bed. But I don't think the atmosphere is going to get on the players. I don't think you're going to see them approach it any differently. Like, nah, I don't really see that, because I get it. We've had our own, trilogies back in the 2010s. We played each other 3 years back to back to back.
Yeah.
Completely different squad, though. No one's really, like, getting anything from that. And this team's already had, like, volatile European away grounds in the Conference League. Obviously, it's the Conference League. You're still going to beat those teams anyway. But you faced volatile crowds before. Like fucking Legia Warsaw, for example, or like fucking Copenhagen's atmosphere. They're all fucking brilliant when we were there. So they're used to being in those European away grounds with good atmospheres and everything. So I don't think it'll impact us too much. Biggest thing is just which one out of us two shits ourselves. Because right now it sounds like we both got a bozo moment in each other, and we're both a little bit tired going into this game.
Yeah.
Which players are you most concerned about going into the game? From your side?
From my side, I would say I think Safonov is a good keeper. but he's obviously not at the level of Donnarumma. One thing with Safonov, he hasn't conceded any like easy goals. He just doesn't make the spectacular saves. So if a shot is put in a good positions, he's gonna concede it potentially. Not like Donnarumma, for example. Marquinhos, I'm still surprised we managed to win the Champions League with him as a starting centre back. He's obviously older and he has a Bozo moment in him as well. But because
has he been
he's older,
dropped, or is it an injury thing?
No, if you're talking about the last game, I think the biggest reason was his wife got a kid, and he was with her in the hospital during the entire night and so on.
I thought, because I saw him on the bench the last couple of games, so I thought it was a drop. If it's just a family thing, then that's normal.
No, sometimes we'll rotate. He's getting older, more injury prone, and that's also why we bought Zabarnia for the money that we spent on him, to give Marquinhos a little bit of rest and to save him up for these big kind of games. The thing is that we play really high press, high intensity, which maybe we didn't see in the Club World Cup final. So multiple times you will see Marquinhos versus Pedro Neto or Garnacho, whoever starts, a little bit on an island. We did the same with Luis Diaz last season versus Liverpool, and we'll do the same thing here once again. So Marquinhos, Safonov. Then obviously you have some players coming back from injury, which means they're not at their best level. They don't have the best rhythm. If Dembele starts, for example, he's not his fully best level. He doesn't have 5 games behind him. João Neves, we talked about as well, coming back from injury. So it's a little bit players coming back from injury, and then Marquinhos and Safonov not being at the highest possible quality going into this game.
Okay, cool. So more just around the back then. Now, from a Chelsea perspective, who are you looking at, both positively and negatively? I will start with the let's say the negative side. What players are you looking at Chelsea and thinking, yeah, we can get at them? But like obviously the centre backs, because fuck them, man.
Again, similarly with the injury thing I mentioned, Cucurella, I know that he just came back from an injury, so he could potentially be lacking a little bit of game rhythm. I'm looking at the thing with Sanchez. Sanchez had an unbelievable Club World Cup final versus PSG.
Yeah.
But I remember Chelsea fans' thoughts and everything going into that game. They used to see him a little bit of as a weakness. So maybe he doesn't have that kind of a spectacular game once again. You mentioned the midfield. I think it's really strong. I mean, Pedro Neto and Garnacho, I don't see them as weaknesses, rather not big strengths. It's not something I'm really fearing going into this game. So I would say those are the potential negativities in this Chelsea squad. If we talk about strengths, first one obviously has to be Cole Palmer. Unbelievable performance. In my opinion, probably the best British performance maybe in history, or at least a top 3, a top 5 one at that stage. And, offensively, he won you guys that game with 2 goals, 1 assist. I know that he's been suffering with the pubalgia and a little bit of injuries, so maybe he won't be at his best full level with the best rhythm and so on. But I saw versus, what was it, Aston Villa. I looked at your heat map. You had Gusto, then Reece James, and then Cole Palmer and João Pedro draws a little bit to the right side. So you basically create an overload, taking away markers. So Palmer basically always has a 1v1. I'm obviously extremely confident in Nuno Mendes, as we've seen him come up against Yamal, Saka, Salah, Ulisse. But that will obviously be a big, matchup in the game. Nuno Mendes versus Palmer. I think with Palmer, sometimes he goes inside. That means Vitinha got to be more on him. Vitinha was disastrous defensively in the Club World Cup final. So again, that's going to be a major danger. That entire right zone for Chelsea against our left side zone, especially with us missing Fabian Ruiz on that flank. João Pedro, as you mentioned, 20 goals this season. Hat-trick and an assist recently versus Aston Villa. He's going to be on fire. The thing that makes me more confident is in the Club World Cup final, we had Beraldo, who I don't rate at all. This time we'll have William Pacho, stronger, physical, South American player like João Pedro. So I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup as well. And then you mentioned the midfield, obviously 100% the midfield. Caicedo was really good in the Club World Cup final. Reece James, he has the mentality and the experience, which I add even more onto. Enzo Fernandez has played, World Cup final, Club World Cup final. He knows how it is. So yeah, that's a little bit how I feel. Do you agree, or do you have some disagreements how I feel about Chelsea players? Because you know more than me.
Not really. I think you said everything pretty fairly. Like, Palmer's had his injury issues. I wouldn't say like the 90-minute performances from him have been consistent, but he turns up in patches throughout the game. And like what you were saying about your team, like picking their occasions and everything, I'd expect Palmer to be picking this occasion with this one. So like, I'd expect him to be fully firing, like not trying to get more involved in duels, like putting 100% out there. Whereas in other games like Napoli, I'd say you could clearly see he was holding himself back a little bit more. He weren't really trying to engage as much. He was trying to move the ball a bit quicker. I agree with the right-hand side. Well, we're always very right-hand side heavy. My guy Alex calls us like stroke football because our whole left-hand side is just completely dead. And it is going to be right-hand side heavy again. In terms of Cucurella, it's even fair calling him out as a potential like point that you could try and do something against, because he's not been at his best this year. And I fully get the reasons why. He's played a stupid amount of minutes. Like, even compared to the amounts that both of our teams have played, his is up there with probably the highest minutes played for both of our squad, if not top. And that, I think that's all just come back to haunt him over this year, because you've seen the performances just slowly start to drop off. And not only that, Geralt Hato's picking up form at the right time. He was very impressive against Arsenal. He was very impressive against Villa. He was one of the only good players against Wrexham. Like I said, him and like 2-3 others could leave that game with some dignity and self-respect.
Yeah.
And yeah, about that, like I find myself agreeing with a lot of what you said. Really did. And for me, it's just, again, it just comes down to individuals in this game. But yeah, I've seen a few guys asking about this. What were you saying, bro?
No, I was just going to say, if you want to do your, just like I did, like weaknesses,
for you guys. Your midfield looks like a weakness, obviously, without João Neves and Fabian Ruiz. Yeah. I kind of fancied ourselves against your midfield anyway, but it would be a tighter battle. Now I just think like I expect us to be at least dominating the midfield battle. Going forward, obviously, you have threats with Doué. Barcola, from what I recall, isn't really the most clinical of your players, but he's a good chance creator.
Do you want to hear a funny stat?
Go on.
He hasn't scored a Champions League goal in over a calendar year, and he's played like 18 games, missing like 17 big chances. So
I'm not even going to say a word to that, because the way our club goes, like that will be bad luck. We might end up being the first club to do that. But yeah, Doué I still expect to be a threat, even though Cucurella kind of handled him pretty well in the last game. Doué's a top talent. But again, with us winning the midfield battle, I expect us to be able to make a good quality of chances. And one thing I've noticed again with Rosenior too, like we're not just like churning out chances for the sake of it. It's like we're trying to make like high quality chances, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I expect us with us winning the midfield battle. I expect your backline to be a bit of a weakness too. But I only say that humbly because I know our backline is going to be a weakness as well. It's not like, yo, we're just going to run through your backline. You could do the exact same thing to us, even if Dembele isn't starting, because all it takes is one error. The corners, though, the set pieces are intriguing, because you're saying you're not great at defending set pieces. Like, we haven't been great recently. Like, since Rosenior's come in, I think he started taking more control over the defensive set pieces, and our set piece coach, Bernardo Cueva, is now taking authority over the offensive set pieces. Suddenly, we're now conceding corners for fun. Arsenal, obviously, we conceded 2. You usually concede corners to them anyway. We conceded 1 to Burnley, down to 10 men. Conceded 1 to Wrexham, got disallowed, but we conceded a goal off that one, and they were the ones down to 10 men. Wolves, we conceded off a corner. I think Crystal Palace as well, we conceded off a corner. So, like, neither of us are great defensively from set pieces. Offensively, we seem to do the same thing as well. Like, we'll either go short, and I don't like us going short because we never fucking do anything from it. It's just the biggest waste of time going. But if we try and put into a box, we do the same thing where it's like, what is it? We'll loop it into the front of the 6-yard box. Someone will try and get a flick on, and either that flick on goes into the net or someone gets the second ball off that.
Yeah.
So if you guys can master that one, like, I don't know how the set pieces are going to go, because like defensively, we've not been great ourselves either.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about us from set pieces. As you mentioned with the short ones, we usually try short ones as well, which we are a little bit better from. For example, against Liverpool, I remember, if you remember Kvaratskhelia offside goal in the first leg, that came from a short corner, passing around, giving him in a good space. So we usually use the short corners to basically start off a new play with you guys, majority in the box, and we can play a little bit around you and so on. So that's how we usually use set pieces. One thing I do want to mention, because we talked about Barcola, recently in the past 2 games, and I believe it will happen again, he will be playing as the striker. And that would be an unpredictable thing, not just for Chelsea, but for anyone, because we've never used Barcola as a striker. And he will give us something new we haven't really seen. He will give us relentless run, because Dembele is someone as a false 9, he likes to drop deep, play with the players, and find the runners. Barcola will be a runner instead. So like Kvara and Due can try to find him, and he will try to push your 2 centre-backs even deeper and be ready for his runs.
He's talking about Due potentially starting in the middle.
Due has also been playing as a false 9. I think against Monaco he played as a false 9 in the second leg, and also when he came out for Dembele, who got injured in the first leg. But then in the past 3 games, it's been Barcola starting as the striker. Scored against Le Havre, scored against Monaco as well. So he has a little bit of a striker goal scoring streak. Again, I don't know too much. It's only been 2 games he's been playing there, but he gives us strengths and a little bit of unpredictability.
Seems like you're going to try one of them, though. If you've been experimenting both, you're probably going to try one with Dembele coming off the bench then.
100%. And with Dembele, I'm really confident because last season versus City in the group stage, I mean, him coming off the bench was a complete game changer, scoring the goal and just being absolutely deadly the entire game. So I'm expecting Dembele, even if he comes off the bench, going to be a game changer. And
we're going to have to take the lead in the first half then, because I'm just deep in it as well. You're going to have a lot better options off the bench to impact the game than we are.
Yeah, Kangin Lee as well. He's been absolutely massive for us coming off the bench. Was that versus Bayern? Was that versus Newcastle? So he'll be a good bench option. Apart from that, we have Gonçalo Ramos. I mean, he's not that good of a player, but he's good at getting a goal. Scored against Marseille, scored against Spurs, scored against Barca. So he could potentially be. So we have some, maybe offensively, I think we'll be good in both halves. We'll try to push for goals.
It'll be very smart for you if you guys were a bit more pragmatic first off. I just don't see you guys doing it. Another manager might do that, and I think that would work out very well for you if you try to just manage your way through the first half and then bring in your key players second half. That would be a real problem for us. But I just don't see Enrique being that pragmatic.
Yeah, no. What could potentially happen is, once again, as the City game I mentioned, it was 0-0 the first half. We were good, we're pressing high, winning the ball up, but we didn't really create that many deadly chances. And then in the second half, when the boots was brought on, we were better offensively. So it could be more of a, we keep the ball, we have a good performance, but we don't create that much. Do you see Chelsea potentially being a little bit conservative? Because if it's of it being an away game against PSG, you want to get a good result back to the bridge? Or do you think you'll press high, play a high line?
Potentially. I don't know if we'd go all the way with it, if it'd just be more of a mid-block, but I could see us trying to draw you in just so there's more space for us to counter off after that. Because we could move the ball very quickly. One of Caicedo's greatest strengths is that when he wins the ball, he immediately finds a good pass. It's with his first 1 or 2 touches. He never holds on to the ball for too long. Enzo Fernandez as well, more than capable of a long pass or a short pass. And like his ground covering is ridiculous. If you see, like for the Aston Villa game, part of the build up for the second goal, and then he goes and gets the assist straight after as he box crashes towards the end of it. So I could see us being a bit more pragmatic. But I think even as well in the World Cup final, we didn't drop back as much. Like, we just tried to meet you high up the pitch. And then it just got very compactive in the middle of the park. So yeah, I could see a mid block more than a high block, I'd say.
Yeah, because my biggest concern, at least with PSG, with the ball in the Club World Cup final, was we barely had any final third entries. I mean, in the first half, I only remember 2 chances. Obviously, you know, when Hakimi tried to pass it to Dembele, to Due, when Cucurella intercepted it, and then like it was like a Due shot off the box. Like you didn't let us get the ball into the final third because you never wanted just to sit back. Because you probably saw Liverpool, they just sat back against PSG and let PSG, you know, with the movement, open them up. So maybe mid-block would probably be the best. And even high press at some moments. Sometimes, you know, high press has been able to suffocate us and we lose the ball high up and so on. It hasn't been...
Yeah, to be honest, now you mention it, because like a lot of our players have had the rest over the weekend, I could see us coming out a lot more intense. So maybe we do try and match you more in that ground. I hope we do, because that's going to make for a much more entertaining watch. And I don't think that there's a lot separating the two of us going into this game. It's just key players. That's the only real difference. In terms of where the squad's at, we're both kind of having very similar problems going into this game. I think for a neutral perspective, that's going to make for a very good match. Just got to hope for my sake, our team's at the end of it. But I know same way for you, hoping your team's at the end of it.
Yeah, I do think this is the best round of 16 game because it's two great teams. And as you said, it isn't that much that differentiates between the two teams.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to the chat as well. Big up to you guys. I've seen you guys are asked about the donations, so I'll go for a few of them quickly. Big up to every single one of you that's in here as well. If you guys got any other questions, I'm starring the best questions as well. So anything you guys want to ask, let us know. And the draw's going to be in about 10 minutes or so, hopefully. So shout out to Mello for joining the membership. Big up to CAA Mafia saying game plan, attack Nuno, 1 yellow from missing the second leg.
Yeah,
that's on Palmer's side too. Yeah, he's going to have a lot of trouble on that right-hand side. Damn. I know for us, we've got Enzo Fernandez and Andre Santos, both 1 yellow away from missing the second leg. And I don't think Santos is going to start. With Enzo, honestly, just stop shouting at the ref. Like, bro, the amount of yellows that us as a team get from shouting at the ref or just like stupid, immature things. It's just been another frustration with this season. But yo, Nuno Mendes 1 yellow away. I weren't aware of that.
Yeah, no, that could be potentially tricky. I think Luis Enrique's plan going into the game is trying to sub off Nuno Mendes after 60 minutes, bringing on a more defensive Lucas Hernandez. That's what he did versus Barca, I remember, in the group stage, because Nuno had the yellow card in that game. But honestly, look, if Nuno gets a yellow, we just play Lucas in the second leg and hope for the best. He's a good player, obviously not on the level of Nuno, but that's definitely something you could be targeting this game. I mean, it goes alongside your strength of attacking down that right-hand side.
Yeah, you're going to have some serious work out from you. There's no chance Lucas Hernandez starts the first leg with that in mind, right?
No.
All right, cool. No worries. Big up CA, though. I never knew that. Also, one other thing. Any other players who got 1 yellow away? Did you wear?
No, from PSG, I actually saw a tweet now. Only Nuno from PSG. And from Chelsea, you mentioned, I think it's maybe even 3 players.
Oh, is that probably? I wouldn't put it past us. I think it's just Enzo and Santos, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. Enzo Santos from Chelsea and from PSG, only Nuno Mendes. I just saw the tweet here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank God. Big up Pachara saying, are you angry that Cody won the title back? No, just bored of it, man. They always fucking give Cody the belt going into Mania. It's just dead. Drew McIntyre deserved way better than that. Big up JC saying, can we book a high press from PSG and fine wine? Can we? Do you think you'll be doing a high press?
Oh, 100%. I think just like in the Liverpool first leg versus Liverpool, it feels like our players haven't put in the highest intensity. Against Monaco in that first half, we didn't put that much intensity at all. But the intensity levels are good. Against Marseille, we actually had our highest intensity game, which was, 2.5 weeks ago? And I think we're saving up for this game to play off the ball out of our minds.
Was that all you guys, because I didn't catch the PSG Marseille game. Was that all you guys just putting your best performance against them? Or was part of it also Marseille just like completely falling apart? How did that game go?
Could have been Marseille potentially a little bit because they just got knocked out of the UCL by conceding 1 extra goal versus Club Brugge. So maybe their mentality going into the game wasn't the best. But we've seen PSG struggle so much in 2026. And in that game, we saw peak PSG. I mean, I was like, yo, this is PSG from last season. Dembele was absolutely insane, scoring the first 2 goals in that game as well. So we just felt like we're still the same team. We just cannot be consistent, players being injured and so on, which still gives me and instills that confidence. We're still the same team. We've just been suffering from outside factors. We haven't been able to handle that much. But when it comes to the high pressing intensity, I definitely think we'll, especially because we don't have a midweek game. Next game up for us is Chelsea next Tuesday.
Yeah, because you got your game postponed.
Yeah.
I wasn't even too mad about that. It's just I wish the Prem would do it for us as well. But if you can get an advantage, fucking take the advantage. You're not the only league that does it. I think La Liga also postpones their games whenever Madrid or Barcelona progress. It's because they want to see their teams do well in Europe. It's just with us, they just want a whole Premier League money and they don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah, plus I've seen your midweek game is versus Newcastle and another team that's playing in the Champions League. It would make both of you, both Chelsea and Newcastle, would like to postpone that game probably. So it makes total sense to postpone it. But yeah, I'm very happy that you, instead of pointing the finger at Ligue 1, you're like, yo, why doesn't the Premier League do this as well?
Yeah, bro, I don't get the point of like, why blame Ligue 1? You guys want your teams to do well. With us, they just rather have the Premier League money, so they don't want to postpone anything. Cool, whatever, man. We know what the Premier League's like anyway. It's always been about that. Mia says, what player would you take from each other's team and why? First off, run me Pacho. Get me a centre back immediately, man. That brother's fucking class. Who else? Obviously Dembele. That goes without saying. That's the fucking Ballon d'Or winner, mate. And
one of the fullbacks, maybe. I mean, you have very good fullbacks, but maybe with James playing more in midfield, you could get maybe a Hakimi.
I'd be Hakimi over Gusto. I'm with that. Nuno Mendes is also a great shout too, because Cucurella's dipped off a lot this year.
Yeah.
Who else are we thinking? How the fuck did I forget Varashelia, man? That was my dream left wing signing 2 years ago. I was fuming that we didn't make a move for him at the time. The brother was only on 120k a week. Suits our wage structure to a T. Now he's probably on double that with you guys, but I think that's all from my side. Who would you take from Chelsea?
I mean, we've been looking for a left-footed right winger for a while. And when I look at Palmer, you know, I remember when Beckham left United to Madrid in the early 2000s. That's how I look at Palmer. Like, I would love him to join PSG. Suits us perfectly profile-wise, would be massive marketability. I mean, we had Beckham. Obviously, Beckham retired at PSG in 2012. So, yeah, I just think from a marketability sense and football sense, Cole Palmer. I like Enzo Fernandez. We wanted him when he was at Benfica before you guys picked him up. So I'd say those are mostly the two notable ones from your squad I would like to have.
Surprised you didn't say Caicedo.
I think Caicedo's a very great player. I just don't know if he suits. Like Enzo Fernandez, for example, amazing with the ball. For us, we don't really need players that are really great off the ball. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that everybody at PSG has to excel with the ball. Without the ball, it's not like Vitinha. He's not that good defensively. Fabio Ruiz is not that good defensively, but that's unimportant for us. Just like, I don't know, Pep Guardiola's Barca. I mean, his midfield of Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, you would look at it as like defensive twinks, not the best defensively, but because they're so good on the ball, it compensates for all of that. But Caicedo would be my third option then, behind Palmer and Enzo Fernandez.
Fair enough. The whole chat's trying to sell you Tosin and Badia Shield, man. We're an evil ass fan base, man. Fucking hell. What was this one? Would PSG's defense be shifting to focus on the right-hand side? I kind of assume so anyway, just by default.
Like your right-hand side? I wouldn't say, honestly, we've faced so many tough teams last season as well. We never adapted for the opposition. And that's more Luis Enrique as a manager. I remember when we had Thomas Tuchel, you guys remember him from his time at Chelsea. He's a very adaptable manager. He goes into a game differently depending on the opposition. That's not who Luis Enrique is. The only adaptation he ever does has to do with Nuno Mendes. So if we're facing a team that doesn't have that good of a raw winger, he tells Nuno to push up. If we play a team that has a great winger, when we played Liverpool with Salah, he mostly stayed defensively. When we play Barca with Yamal, he mostly stays defensively. So I think he will stay more defensively. Because of your right side and also because of Cole Palmer. That's, I would say, the only tweak he would do from a defensive measure against Jan.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised that Enrique, because he's getting more he will always get the protection of the trophies that he's won this season. But I get why the frustration is around with him now. Because like when you do the same thing and then you get more frustrating results, you're gonna have fans just begging you to change things up.
Yeah.
But it does seem like it's more of a recruitment issue than just Luis Enrique. This brother's fucking won you 6 trophies. And then the window that you've got, It's not been great. And I say that from a guy that's had a shit window himself, man. But I think both of us expected us to do a lot more based off how we handled last season. We both massively overachieved on what we expected for the season, obviously to different levels.
Yeah. But honestly, I don't look that much at the transfer window. Like, I was calm with the transfer window. I maybe wanted 1-2 extra players. For us, it's just been the injuries. I mean, Dembele, 5 months out total. Desiree Doué, 4 months out. Hakimi, like 4 months out in total. Fabian, like 3 months out. Neves, 3 months out. But as you said, if we'd signed more players, that would have obviously compensated for the injuries. But I don't think anybody expected the injuries to hit us as bad as they've done. Still no excuse.
I kind of expected from a Chelsea perspective, but I thought it'd be the same for every team that progressed further in the World Cup. I was saying from this time last year, make sure the window is good. You need to get top 4 so you can have more money to get better players, because we're going to have a ton of games coming up this year. And then we just did nothing. And both our teams are drained. Like, this was always going to happen. You've played about 112 games since this time last year. Since the start of last season, we're at 115. It's fucking ridiculous for this squad. And I think you've got a smaller group of players than we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shit was always going to impact us, man. What score would you take to the second leg, both of you? Right, I know some Chelsea fans are saying we'll take a draw and everything. No, I want a victory. Because for me, it's about a statement as well. I hate this idea, right, that a lot of rival fans are doing, that all we've done is beat a tired PSG in the final. I think we're playing a tired PSG, personally. Just what I'm saying, where you're playing a tired Chelsea. Both of our teams have done a stupid amount of games, and now's the point where I think either of us can take an advantage off that. The last game, I think we made a big statement anyway, but now we got to do it again just so people could stop saying it was a fluke result or a fluke victory. Yeah, no one expected us to whoop you like that, but, bro, I thought we could win that game. Not like 3-0 or 2-1 or something, maybe a 3-2, goals both ways. But I thought we could win that. Now everyone's just making excuses about it because of how bad our season's been. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, bro. I want to go win again. I want us to make a statement. I want Rosenior to get that moment himself. Because as of right now, a lot of people are still iffy on him. And I think a result against PSG would do a lot to, like, get the majority of the fans on side of him. Be like, okay, now you've shown up. Now this is your statement result. You've gone away to PSG, not even just at the yard. You've gone away and you've pulled a victory.
Yeah.
We haven't won at your ground in 4 attempts. I think the last time was 2004, in fact, because it was the group stage. That's how far back it's been since a win over there. So, make a statement. What would you take a draw going into the second leg? Obviously, you take a victory, but would you take a draw?
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to PSG this season and overall, no result fades me. I mean, last season we lost 1-0 to Liverpool, but for some reason I was even more confident that we were going to go through versus Liverpool going into the second leg. I don't think it will be the same this season, but this season it just felt we've had so many hurdles ahead of us, but we managed to come through. The Monaco, we were 2-0 down. We're 1-0 down. Spurs in the UEFA Super Cup, we were 2-0 down. Barca, we were 1-0 down. Marseille, we were 2-1 down. In the 95th minute of the game, we brought it back. So even if the worst thing happens, which is we draw the game, or even who knows, maybe Chelsea even get the victory you're talking about, I would still go in confident enough into the second leg for PSG to advance. But the result I would want is the usual. You want a 1 or 2 goal lead, taking it into the second leg. But yeah, I'm confident whatever happens, honestly. And then the second leg will be the final. I think that's Chelsea players, PSG players, they know this is like a training game going. The second leg will be the final. That will be the game that determines who goes through, in my opinion. I don't think the time will be killed from either sides. Like, do you think if Chelsea win, let's say Chelsea win 2-0, would you say the tie is over? You go confident?
No, bro. I can't ever do that shit. Not a chance. With the collapses that I've seen this season, I'm not doing none of that. I'd have to see a 3-goal victory or something. I don't see a 3-goal victory. I could see a 1-goal victory. On our best day, I think it will be a 2-goal victory. Because I do not trust this back line. We're not keeping a clean sheet. That's the one thing about this fixture I'll go on the bat to say. We are not keeping a clean sheet on Wednesday. We'll score. but 1-goal lead. I think whatever result is for either side, it will be a 1-goal thing.
And if PSG, let's say PSG win 3-1, how confident would you be? How much of your confidence would it lower that you would advance to the quarterfinals?
3-1 would be a bit dark. But the same way, I think this team could still do it. You just need a 15 out of 10 performance. Something like that, like no problems and the perfect game from Chelsea. And again, I think we could still get 2 goals against you at home. Am I keeping a clean sheet? Because suddenly Dembele is going to be a lot more fit. He'll probably start the second leg now instead of being on the bench for the first leg. That might be a difference maker. João Neves might be fit and able to play. So suddenly the midfield's a bit stronger now. So if we're taking a 2-goal deficit to the second leg, we can do it. Someone might still fuck it up for me, which has been the story of my season. So that would just be dark. I'd be on pure hopium.
And a 2-1? Just a 1-goal or a 2-1 or a 3-2?
Yeah, 1 goal, I think we could turn that around. I'd be a bit more confident about that one. A 2-goal, I'm asking for everybody to be on job. And there's always one idiot. There's always one bozo, and you don't even know which one it's going to be. It could be one of the key players. I have a fucking Caicedo against Leeds, for example. We're playing some of our best football all season. Best football I've seen under Rosenior. Stupid penalty. Suddenly we've dropped the points, and it's 2-2. So yeah, fucking lovely. What's your reflection on Rosenior from the French league? This actually, I didn't get to see a lot of Rosenior at Strasbourg. So how did you make of his time at France?
So we played him 3 games. One ended 4-2 to PSG. One they won 2-1, and then one this season 3-3. The only thing I would say is the 3-3 and the 2-1. We played a little bit of a rotated squad because we had upcoming Champions League game. The 2-1 defeat came in between the 2 Arsenal games. And the 3-3 this season.
You had the title wrapped up by then, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And the unbeaten run was already over because we'd lost to Nice the game before. One thing I've noticed with Liam, great tactically. You know, sometimes some Ligue 1 teams, they have great individuals, but maybe not the best tactics. Liam definitely combined the two. Strasbourg have so many great individuals, and he put the tactics. I mean, he turned Barco from a left back into a defensive midfielder. He was playing a 3-2-5 with possession, and he was very fearless as well. Like he would play a high line. He would play all out attack. He would press us high up and everything. So I would say fearless and tactically very good. Those are the 2 words I would describe his Strasbourg sides, I felt.
Fair enough. You guys as well. The draw has just started. So we're about to see who Chelsea's going to draw in the FA Cup in just a couple of minutes. Just the last question on PSG and everything. What do you think the score's going to be? I always end on the score prediction, but what do you think the score's going to be?
So I'm been tingling between a 2-1 and a 3-1. I want a victory. I believe we'll get a victory. It depends on 2 stuff, how great the performance is, because I can be confident that we'll perform great because it's PSG in the Champions League knockout stage. But from what I've seen this season, especially in 2026, I've been more confident in previous legs. The second thing, as I mentioned, is we don't take our chances sometimes and we concede stupid goals. So maybe we can even have a performance of a 3-1, but the game ends in a 2-2 because we don't take our chances and we concede a stupid goal, or we don't keep concentration on a set piece and concede. But yeah, 2-1.
This is the same shit I'd say about Chelsea, word for word, bar for bar, bruv. Like, that's why I keep saying I really have a good feeling about this game, because there's not the gulf that I expected going into this match. But for me, it's the same thing. I think it's a 1-goal victory for either side, or it's going to be a draw that we take to the bridge. I don't see either team winning by 2. I see either team could potentially have a game where they win by 2, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, who shits the bed? This is literally the title of the game. Who shits the bed? But yeah, I'm going 2-1 Chelsea. As much as I hate that score prediction, I think it's the most NPC sort of comment. First draw, Southampton at home. Who's got Southampton? They're saying Southampton got Arsenal. Okay, so that means we're not getting Arsenal. That's good.
Who
I'd rather get them later in the competition.
I know that City, Liverpool are still in it.
Port Vale, City, Leeds, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and 1 of West Ham or Brentford.
Do you want to? When is the game played? Is it soon?
It will be. So we got the international break.
Yeah.
The first week after the international break is that. 7. We got a home game. Lovely. I wanted an easy home game. Come on, give me Port Vale. Give me Port Vale. I know the chat's ahead, so I've put down the back burner. Who do we get? We got Port Vale. Fucking get in. Fucking get in. Lovely shit, man. We're on our way to Wembley, man. Let's fucking go. We swerved everybody, man. What a fucking run. Lovely shit, man. But fuck the rest of these, man. I got what I wanted. Let's go. Let's go. Where's the Sue sound effect, man? Let's fucking go. Easy 5 points on the loyalty scheme. We'll be there for that one because it'll be a piss easy wash. Lovely. Lovely stuff. And yeah. Perfect timing to end the show, man. Brother, thank you for jumping on. It's been a great chat. I've learned a lot about PSG going into this game. Obviously, we'll be around for the second leg. I'm going to jump on your channel for that as well. And make sure you, man, are all subbed. Make sure you guys are all subbed over there. Top PSG content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in Paris. I'm going to do a vlog tomorrow when I travel over there. So we'll see you over there. Like, subscribe. Big up, everybody. Head over to Don's channel. Spam World Champions Raid.